Big Meech's highly anticipated Welcome Back concert was supposed to be a historic moment, a grand celebration of his return that would bring the streets, hip-hop, and the culture together under one roof. But just as 50 Cent predicted, the concert was officially canceled before it could even take off. The whispers had already been circulating in the industry. Too much heat, too many eyes, and too many risks. And now, the worst has happened. The concert that was meant to be a legendary homecoming for the Black Mafia family's BMF leader has crumbled before it even had a chance to shake the world. From the moment Big Meech's release from prison was even rumored, excitement began brewing in the hip-hop world. Meech wasn't just another street figure. He was an icon. The man whose story inspired a generation of rappers, who had his hands in everything from music to business, and whose BMF empire became a symbol of street power and wealth. When news broke that he could be coming home sooner than expected, the culture was ready to celebrate in a way that had never been seen before. And what better way to mark his return than a massive concert featuring some of the biggest names in the game? The idea was bold. A welcome back concert for Big Meech was set to be more than just a show. It was a statement, a flex, a reminder that Meech still held weight, that his influence never faded even after years behind bars. It was rumored that some of the biggest rappers in the industry were already lining up to perform. There was talk of appearances from major players who owed some of their success to Meech's influence, whether directly or indirectly. The energy was building, the streets were buzzing, and anticipation was through the roof. But there was one person who wasn't convinced this concert would ever happen: 50 Cent. If there's one thing we know about 50, it's that he always sees things coming before most people do. And when it came to Big Meech's Welcome Back concert, he wasn't shy about his thoughts. According to sources close to the situation, 50 had been telling people from early on that this concert was a bad idea, that it would never happen the way people thought, and that the streets weren't ready for what this would bring. At first, some dismissed his words as just another case of 50 being 50, always stirring the pot, always calling things out. But as time went on, it became clear that he wasn't just talking. He knew something the rest of the world didn't. And sure enough, the concert plans started running into problems almost immediately. First, there were logistical issues. Organizing an event of this scale takes major planning, and it quickly became apparent that certain venues were hesitant to be associated with it. Some claimed it was a security concern. Others worried about the potential for chaos. But those close to the industry knew what it really was: fear. Fear of what a Big Meech homecoming event would represent. Fear of the power still attached to his name. Fear that this concert wasn't just about music, but about sending a message that some people didn't want to be sent. Then the legal concerns started piling up. While Meech himself wasn't directly involved in organizing the concert, his name alone carried enough weight to raise red flags. The authorities weren't going to let this happen without scrutiny. Some insiders claimed there were quiet conversations happening behind closed doors, calls being made, pressure being applied. It wasn't long before venues that were once open to the idea suddenly started backing out. Security teams started hesitating. Insurance costs skyrocketed. The walls were closing in. And then came the final blow. Just as the rumors started flying that the concert was in jeopardy, 50 Cent doubled down. He made it clear that this was exactly what he expected, and that anyone who thought otherwise was blind to how the game really works. Whether it was through cryptic social media posts, subtle shots in interviews, or conversations behind the scenes, he made sure everyone knew this was doomed from the start. When the official news dropped that the concert was officially canceled, the reaction was split. Some were disappointed, but not surprised. Others were furious, believing that unseen forces had worked overtime to shut this down before it could even begin. But the ones who had been paying attention? They knew that 50 had called it from the jump. And now, the question isn't just about what happened to this concert. It's about what this means for Big Meech's future. Because this isn't just about one event. This is about the message being sent. If a welcome back concert couldn't even happen, what else is off the table? What other moves will be blocked before they even start? Is this just the beginning of a larger effort to keep Meech's influence contained, even outside of prison? And more importantly, what's 50's next move? Because let's not forget, 50 Cent has been one of the most vocal supporters of Meech's story, but he's also a businessman. His BMF series has been a massive success, bringing the legend of the Black Mafia family to a new generation. But with that success comes power, and 50 isn't someone who plays his cards without thinking 10 steps ahead. Some are already speculating that he knew this concert would be shut down and that he's already positioning himself for the next chapter in the BMF saga. So, what happens now? Will Big Meech make a different kind of comeback? Will 50 Cent use his platform to turn this into an even bigger movement? And will the people who wanted this concert shut down realize that they might have just made Meech's return even bigger than before? Because one thing is for sure, this story isn't over. The Welcome Back concert might be cancelled, but the legend of Big Meech is far from dead. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the biggest moments in hip-hop don't happen on stage. They happen in the streets, in the boardrooms, and in the minds of the people who refuse to be silenced. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning.